When you grow up in a low-income neighborhood, you don't always have a chance to study the arts. Schools have cut back on those classes and private lessons are pricey. But in Pleasant City, one community center has found a way. They couldn't get to everyone, but fortunately, those who didn't get in on this day won't have to do without. You see it every day. People walking down the street, texting, checking their emails, talking on the phone. I mean, who hasn't done it, right? Yoga is believed to have a calming effect on adults who practice it, and it apparently works on babies, too. A lot of us have been trying to get into better shape, and many of the workouts we've been doing have been brutal. But they're nothing compared to what they were doing on the waterfront during a military fitness competition. Most people call police when there's a problem, but that's not the only time officers are in your area, and they want you to know they're here to help. In West Palm Beach, cops are being encouraged to interact with the public between calls.
Every time when you tell them, they just move out, and after that?
I know.
They're trying to build good relationships when there's nothing going wrong, so if they do have to come back when there is trouble, people will trust them enough to cooperate.
So you got to get out of your car. You gotta see people, look at people in the eye, shake hands. How you doing? How's your day? Hansel, Freddy, Hansel y Arinel. ¿Son hermanos?
No. Of course, some days there is very little time to spare for relationship building.
Señor, ¿cómo está?
Many of the calls they're sent on are the ones police dread. Domestic calls between relatives and friends where emotions run high.
So what? We could all grow up living in a Section 8 house.
And cops often find themselves in the middle.
I had sent her to the store and I asked her why did she spend my other $5 and she got all hysterical.
Your mom? Is it your mom or your sister or what? That's your mom?
Yeah, that's my mom.
And while the potential for making connections with people can be tricky,
Do you have any warrants, sir? Okay.
just as the media's cameras tend to show up wherever there's even a hint of trouble,
I'm just telling you, man, you can't be out here, dude.
police are also faced with the knowledge that everywhere they go, everyone they see, and even those they don't see, could have at the absolute least a cell phone camera recording their every move.
You cannot keep doing this. I'm not taking you to jail. I don't want to take you to jail.
The city recently bought body cameras for officers. They're not being used yet, but when they are, they will represent still another set of eyes and ears on police while they're on the job.
I have great supervisors that they have always said, whatever you do, do it as if you're with a family member and always as if somebody, the public, is watching you.
It's a challenge they say they're up to as they work to keep their relationship with the people they serve cordial and the city calm. This is Sheryl Kahn reporting for TV18. You see it every day. People walking down the street, texting, checking their emails, talking on the phone. I mean, who hasn't done it, right? It may seem like no big deal, but a statewide study shows that distracted walking is causing pedestrians to get hurt. They're walking into things and getting hit by cars. So the Florida Department of Transportation has started a campaign called Stop the Talk, Just Walk. That concept seems to be a tough sell, especially among the most distracted walkers of all, young people.
If you're like a place right here where there's not that many clutter or danger, it would be fine.
And while South Florida is known to be among the most dangerous areas in the country for pedestrians, many of them say they're not going to worry about it.
I can see you and talk.
Some say multitasking is just second nature, so crossing the street, climbing stairs, talking on the phone, doing an interview simultaneously, no problem.
I'm actually a pretty good multitasker, and I feel like it actually helps you develop skills for multitasking.
Researchers say they may not be as invincible as they think they are. Still, getting people to take the hazard seriously and put down their cell phones while they're walking could be an uphill battle.
Look at me, I'm walking. Look at me, I'm talking.
This is Sheryl Kahn reporting for TV18. A long line at the drive-thru and business was brisk, but they weren't buying burgers here. They were trading in their guns.
All you gotta do is pull around right around to the RV and they'll go ahead and take care of you.
The gun buyback intended to take weapons off the street with the offer of gift cards worth up to $100 in exchange for anything from rifles that still work.
When you hear that click, that means it's working.
To handguns that don't, with West Palm Beach police standing by to conduct the transactions, no questions asked. Many of those turning in their weapons say they did so because they wanted to get the guns out of the house, away from their kids and grandkids.
I also have 7 grandchildren that I'm concerned that are around my house on a daily basis, find these things, and they'll wind up someplace where they shouldn't be.
Some say they've been thinking about dumping the guns for quite a while, and this seemed like an easy way to do it. Of course, the gift cards help too.
I'm getting a gift certificate to Whole Foods, so I think it might be lobster tonight.
The weapons will be screened for possible connections to crimes, with those that are deemed clean destroyed. And while one day of trade-ins won't come close to ridding the city of all illegal weapons, many people say there is comfort in knowing that at least now some of them are out of circulation.
The handguns are only used for one thing, so I was happy to be able to do it. I was thankful to be able to do it.
This is Sheryl Kahn reporting for TV18. If you're a city person, learning how to become an organic farmer may not be at the top of your list. But one South Florida man thinks of little else, and he's on a mission to spread the word. His real name is Tony Dagger, but most people know him as
Farmer Tone.
Tony has the makings of a master showman.
This is a papaya.
But he's also a master gardener, specializing in organic fruits, vegetables, and herbs. He got into it after medical issues led Tony to research ways to cut out pesticides from the food he eats. Convinced that going organic improved his health, Farmer Tone set out to spread the word.
When you grow it yourself, you know where you get your soil from. You know where the seeds are coming from.
Tony teaches organic gardening during both private lessons and workshops like this one held at the Palm Beach Zoo.
How about chemical fertilizers? Is it good for you?
No.
Why?
Because they're a little poisonous.
Oh my God, that's correct. So we are putting so much poison in our food now.
He says becoming organic gardeners will not only help people clean up their diets, it will also encourage them to take a break from their computers and cell phones.
I bring the kids to be connected to the earth. I want to get them back into fresh air, nature. Kids want to play. Let them go and play in the soil. Let them grow stuff.
Tony says he also wants city kids to know where their food really comes from and not just which supermarket.
Where did tomato come from? Don't say that. Where do you get it from? Yeah, say it.
Store.
From the store. But you know what? The tomato coming from a plant.
They may not remember everything he tells them, but Tony hopes that even in the short time he spends with them, he's sowing the seeds for the next generation of organic farmers. This is Sheryl Kahn reporting for TV18. When you grow up in a low-income neighborhood, you don't always have a chance to study the arts. Schools have cut back on those classes and private lessons are pricey. But in Pleasant City, one community center has found a way.
We have 2 solos, a piano and a flute selection. Enjoy!
Dress rehearsal for the kids of Faith's Place is a very serious business. They're not professionals, but their instructors expect them to give it their all, whether acting, dancing, singing, or playing an instrument. Most of these young people probably won't go on to performing arts careers, but some may, and if they do, they'll have to keep on working hard, as their violin teacher, 29-year-old professional musician Gareth Johnson, can tell them.
Hopefully, what comes out of this is people recognize talent.
Johnson is among several musicians who volunteer their time to teach here. The son of 2 doctors, Johnson says that growing up he never had to borrow instruments or struggle to pay for lessons, things that are out of reach for most of the kids participating in programs at the center.
Growing up, I'd pay $200–300 an hour for some lessons like this.
While they're teaching, Johnson and the other instructors use a combination of encouragement, empathy,
she has a different mouthpiece,
and tough love.
Well, they need to play it the right way. It's not that hard.
But most of all, they try to inspire their students. And there is perhaps nothing more inspiring than talented musicians who are already racking up accomplishments even though they're still in high school, like 17-year-old Kavana Shuford and 14-year-old Cameron Williams, who are already teaching here.
Since I'm young myself, I'm able to pass on what I know to these kids in a way that they can understand, and it really helps them grow.
The teen musicians could spend their free time doing other things, but they feel that what they're doing here is just too important.
Studies have shown that the arts has improved test scores, so I feel that every student should have that opportunity.
Me being African American as well as a female and a violist is all just things you don't see every single day. So my mom tells me to take everything that I have and make sure I can broadcast it to whoever I can.
And their contribution does not go unnoticed.
Our students are so blessed to have you here with them. Not because they're brown children, and you know what I mean, but because they're children and they really need this outlet. The fact that you're willingly coming to the hood to do this means a lot, and I believe you're going to be blessed bountifully.
And so these performers are learning from each other, growing up together, and most likely never forgetting it. This is Sheryl Kahn reporting for TV18.